Okay, I need to ask you something right now. If you could solve a murder in one place, would it be a small town or would it be a glamorous country club? Because tonight's author has built an entire world of mysteries and secrets and even a little bit of drama inside a country club. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another ReaderCrate author interview. If we haven't met yet, I'm Alyssa Granlund. I'm the founder of ReaderCrate, and I'm also an author. I write under the pen name Lissa Lund, and I just love connecting readers with amazing authors and amazing books, which is exactly what we're going to do tonight. We are continuing our celebration of our March crate, Grounds for Suspicion. And tonight's guest is a really fun one. Her name is Julie Mulhern, and she is a USA Today bestselling author known for her Country Club Murder series, which is a humorous, cozy mystery set in the 1970s. And this is her book, The Deep End, which we're going to be talking about tonight. And her books are full of really witty characters and vintage glamour. There's scandal, of course, and some murder. So her stories follow Ellison Russell, she's a reluctant sleuth navigating kind of that high society, the secrets and the occasional dead body. And her book, The Deep End, was featured in our March Reader Crate. So please, everybody, help me welcome Julie Mulhern. Yay! Hello, welcome.
So thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. And so why don't we start real simple? We're going to have people joining us that are on every time that we do these on a Thursday night. So we're going to have some questions from our listeners. But to start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're joining us from?
I, like Ellison, I live in Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. And I'm from Kansas City and was fortunate enough to grow up kind of in a country club setting. And so when I was thinking about writing a mystery, I was like, well, that would be a really fun thing to do. And now I'm like 21 books in. So
great.
It's worked out.
Now, are you still part of the country club scene?
Yes, actually.
Yeah. What do your friends think?
They love it. All of them love it. It's I don't generally put people I know in my books unless they make me really angry, and then they go in.
Right, because right?
Yeah. Or I just torture them. So
yeah. That's awesome. Well, so tell us, I always love to ask a little bit about what is your typical writing day, a typical day in the life of Julie?
It used to be that I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and write until 7 and then get my kids out of the house and then go to work. I've been a full-time writer for a while, so now I get up and exercise and then I get my dogs out and then I write, until late afternoon. And that seems to work better for everybody, including the dogs. Who thought that getting 2 large dogs in our late 50s was a good idea? It was, yeah, you too?
Yep.
Whoops. I spent a lot of time at the dog park.
Yeah, exactly. It's so fun. It's fun to meet interesting people too at the dog park. So what kind of dogs do you have? I mean, I heard them a little bit in the background. What are they?
I have a Labrador, a yellow lab named Scout. And then we have a blackmouth cur who we got to keep Scout company, not realizing that he would be 4 times the work that Scout is. Oh. So Wiley is our handful.
Yep. There's always one, right?
So. But the good news is that Scout hasn't eaten any more door frames since Wiley arrived. So there's that.
Yeah, they can be destructive. Well, that's great. How old are they?
They're both about, Scout will turn 3 in May, and I bet Wiley's about 2. So.
Okay. Well, that's super fun. Do you ever feature the dogs in your books?
Well, when I started writing the Country Club Murders, and it's been a while, I had a Weimaraner, so I gave Ellison a Weimaraner. And my Weimaraner was a handful, a complete handful. So that's what Max became. And so Max is still there. I wish Sam was still here. But we've since added a second dog because the dynamic when you have 2 dogs can lead to humor. and I love that in a mystery. So that's what I've done.
So, okay, so you had a Weimaraner, so I have to ask, have you seen that movie Best in Show?
I have.
Okay, so was your Weimaraner like that Weimaraner?
No, he was not that neurotic.
I love that. I love that character, that whole sequence of
I know, but I don't even know that the Weimaraner was neurotic. I think it was just its owners.
Oh, totally. That's totally what it was, right? The
Mhm.
Weimaraner was just rolling his eyes. Like, what
Right.
is going on? This is crazy. Okay, so let's get back to talking about mysteries. All right. So, and I see we've got some people joining us, and let me just say hi, Wanda. So glad you're here. Thank you. And anybody else who's joining in, please, put a little comment so I can say hello to you. So glad you're here, Wanda. All right. So I know that because I snooped on you, I kind of did a little bit of research on you, Julie. So I know you've loved mysteries your whole life, from like Nancy Drew to Agatha Christie. So how did that kind of turn into you writing your own series? Where did this all begin for you?
I have kind of a backward trip into publishing in that I was writing magazine articles, and I got an agent to rep my magazine articles. And she said, well, you really ought to write a book. You're good. You ought to write a book. And so before I ever wrote a book, I had an agent who was interested in repping me. And I wrote a book. It was terrible because magazine articles and fiction are not remotely this. Yeah. And so I wrote a second book, and it was less terrible. And then Joanne, who's my agent at the time, said, write a romance. See how you do with that. Because this whole kind of, I was writing young adult mysteries, and she's like, I don't think you've got the right voice for it. So I didn't read romance or anything. So I read a bunch of romances, and I wrote a romance, and it was not terrible. It's not terrible. And I kill a lot of people in it. So it doesn't really work as a romance, but it's not a terrible book. And at any rate, about that time, Joanne got pregnant and left the business, and I got another agent, and it went out on submission. And when you're out on submission as a new author, frequently you will get this thing called R&R, which is not rest and relaxation. It's revise and resubmit. And I was getting R&Rs on this romance with lots of dead bodies and a mystery as its central core, over and over again. And finally, after about the third time, I said to my agent, I'm not doing that again. It is what it is. And if nobody wants it, nobody wants it. But I'm not revising it again because it's getting overwritten. And she said, well, are you working on your second book? And I was like, oh, yeah. Why would I write a second book in this series when the first one isn't selling? And I sat down and wrote what I really liked, which was straight up mysteries. At the time, I was reading a lot of Martha Grimes. Love Martha Grimes to this day. I love her English pub mysteries, and kind of that witty, cozy mysteries with humor. I just love them. And I really liked Rhys Bowen's Evans series at that point. And so I was reading cozy mysteries. So when I sat down, and I didn't know they were cozy mysteries, I just knew that those were the kind of mysteries that I really liked reading. I really enjoyed them. And I sat down to write one, and it was The Deep End. And it sold. I finished it in a few months because I was so excited about it. And it sold like right away. And the rest is history. So
That's pretty fun. Well, for people who are new, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Deep End and kind of the country club mysteries, and, without giving it away, but,
Sure.
just a little bit of the premise.
The premise, of course, is that Ellison Russell is, she's just shy of 40. She's an artist in 1974 in Kansas City, and she has committed the cardinal sin of making more money than her husband.
Oh, yeah.
And he is not exactly a great husband, and they have decided, as couples sometimes do, that they're going to stay together until their daughter or their child graduates from high school, and then when she's out of the house, they can get divorced. So they're just kind of holding on. And Ellison gets up and goes to the country club every morning to go swimming, and frequently it's in the dark. And the deep end starts with Ellison swimming into a body. And unfortunately for Ellison, it's the body of her husband's mistress.
Ooh.
So she's immediately a suspect in her murder, and it kind of just goes from there. Country club types. It was great fun to write.
Yep. It's quite the discovery.
Mhm. Yeah, and I am not a swimmer, but I have friends who are like, that is so creepy because I'm there in the dark before the lights are on in the pool, and that could happen. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, all right. So your books are set in the 70s, which I love. I totally love the 70s, and because that's when I grew up. And so what made you choose that era?
well, a couple of things. I really like an era where things change for women, like
Mm,
drastically change for women. And the 1970s were certainly that. 1970, it wasn't until 1974 actually that women could get credit cards in their own names. Um, I try frequently to deal with women's issues in my books, whether it's sexual harassment at work, the idea of equal pay, um, domestic violence, all sorts of things. I mean, in Missouri, where I live, they didn't even have a domestic violence shelter until 1978.
mm,
The stock response for policemen, if they were called on a domestic dispute, was just try and be nicer. Like it was the woman's fault and she wasn't being nice enough. And somehow, if she were only more amenable, her husband wouldn't hit her. So, I mean, and that all sounds kind of dark, but it really isn't. I mean, my
mhm,
books are funny. So,
mhm,
but
mhm,
I try and really do work women's issues
mm.
into the storylines. Which so there's that.
That's awesome. So I read that you use vintage magazines for inspiration, which makes sense since you used to write articles for magazines. So I'm sure that there's a couple reasons why you like that. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I have like stacks. I have the entire night, and I have 19, and it's just 1974, but I've got all the Vogues from 1974. I've got all the architectural digests from 1974, and I've got all the gourmets from 1974.
Oh,
Because if I'm gonna plan a luncheon and I want it to be 1970s food, it's really easy to open up a gourmet and be like, "What the heck is that? I guess they're having it," kind of thing. Um, so that they've been wonderful primary sources, frankly,
mhm,
of what people were wearing, what the lipstick colors were, what they were eating, decor. I mean, because I mean, you get the kind of stereotypical 70s lava lamp beanbag thing,
mhm.
but people who went to country clubs did not decorate with that. So that's where Architectural Digest has been very helpful.
That's great. Well, so Ellison, first of all, what a cool name. I love the name Ellison Russell. That's awesome. She's such a fun character. So, who did you base her on, or how did you come up with her?
I Ellison, yeah, I think there's always, whether we admit it or not, there's always a lot of ourselves in our protagonists.
Mhm.
So Ellison's kind of snarky, yeah, thing might be me a little bit, but I'm no artist, that's for sure. And I actually am married to a lovely man, so that's different also. But yeah, that sort of moral compass, I think that creating, especially for cozy mysteries, which tend to run long in the series, you have to create characters where people want to be friends with them and want to come back again and again and join them on their next adventure.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Do you have a
that's
favorite character in your series besides
Aggie.
Allison?
I want Aggie. I want Aggie in my house every day.
Yeah.
Aggie is the housekeeper who like makes Ellison's house run. Um and just to harken back to Nancy Drew for a minute, I mean, Nancy Drew and her father had Hannah, who like kept everything going. And if you think about it, like in a totally and I'm kind of think Nancy Drew's father is like, here is your sports car. Here is your spending allowance. She had no maternal figure. She got to go and do whatever she wanted without any mother's influence. And then there was Hannah, who was just sort of like the voice of reason. And I loved that kind of feel. Obviously, Ellison has a mother to deal with, but
Yeah.
but again, comic relief.
So, I read, and I would wholeheartedly agree that people really do connect with your characters. So, what do you think it is, or what's your secret to making them so real?
Oh gosh, I don't. You stumped me on that. I mean, most people are shades of gray, and we've all got things we're proud of, and we all have flaws. And if you make a character too perfect, they're boring.
Yeah.
And if you make a character too dark, they become cartoonish. So it's kind of that balance. People love to hate Frances, who is Ellison's mother, right until she turns into a tiger mom and takes up for her daughter. And I can't tell you the number of times I've heard people say, I hated Frances right up until, and it's when she's come through for her daughter.
Yeah.
So
That's good. So, yeah, because, your characters kind of feel like you feel like the family, right? I mean, you really feel that dynamic.
right.
So, all right. So, if you could step into your own book, what would you want to do? What would be your role in the book if you became one of the characters in the books?
Oh, wow. I think I would want to be Libba, who is Ellison's best friend, who kind of skates through life with a martini in her hand. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Not a martini, but
That's so funny. So then if you were Libba, then what would your role be? Would you be a sleuth, or would you?
well, I mean, Libba is the reflection character for Ellison. She's the one that Ellison can talk to and like bounce things off of. So I guess I would be the side character.
The sidekick, yeah.
The side character with a martini, a great haircut, and a fabulous closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you there, Lissa? Hello? Lissa? Lissa?
There we go. Yeah, it's kind of,
Okay.
I'm here. Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? I don't
Yep.
know. Okay. Oh, there we go. I don't know what was going on. So are your writing style, are you a plotter or a pantser? Do you outline it all, or tell us about that?
I write to plot points. So I, basically 10% of the way, in my books, Ellison generally finds a body like straight off the bat because it sets up the mystery so quickly and gets readers engaged. And I love that. And then, I just say what really interesting thing could happen at the 25% mark. What interesting thing, what could change the whole outlook of the mystery at 50%. And then at 75%, how bad could I make things for Ellison and whatnot? And then at 90%, she solves it. And then I get the 10% to wrap things up. But so I write to plot points. And I am so basic that I will take a piece of paper and just fold it and write the plot points. And that's my outline. So,
Wow, that's good. Keep it simple, right?
well, what I have found is that if I heavily outline, I'm so bored that it becomes really hard for me to write it. Because if I know everything that's happening, it's boring. And then if you have like this detailed outline and you go off-piste, which of course I would or do when I've tried to do it, then like the whole outline's worthless. So why? I've just spent a week writing an outline and now it's useless because I had a better idea.
Yeah. What's the hardest part of writing for you?
Sitting down. I mean, that's a really flippant answer, but it's true. I mean, I think that discipline and making yourself write every day, especially as long as I've been doing this now, is the hardest part, like sitting
Mhm.
down and actually doing the work.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you have anything to help you to get into the groove?
Um, I have like it's almost like a Pavlov's dog sort of playlist. I put my earbuds in, and that's the only time I listen to that playlist is when I'm working. And if it's on, I'm like, oh, okay, time to work. So
What kind of music is that?
it is, it's kind of a mix. It's my top 25 favorite songs of all time. So it's everything from Marshall Tucker to Trisha Yearwood to Stevie Ray Vaughan. So it's really eclectic. And I mean, I say that, and then I think there's psychedelic furs in there too. So it's really eclectic.
What's
But
your favorite Trisha Yearwood tune?
the song Remembers When.
I love that one
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the Trisha Yearwood song that comes up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that one.
Mhm.
That's the one that starts on a bus to St. Cloud, Minnesota.
I don't know.
I
She
thought I
she
saw you
hears a
there.
she hears a song and it reminds her of being in love with this guy, and yeah.
Mhm. Yep. I love that one. So, all right. So back to cozy mysteries. So what kinds of things do you do to try to keep them cozy, or do you even think about it? Is it just so natural for you that you don't have to think
I
about
don't
it?
really even think about it anymore. I mean,
Mhm.
there's certain rules and expectations with a cozy mystery. Obviously, the number one expectation in a cozy mystery, or any mystery, is the mystery is going to be solved.
Mhm.
Um, and that the bad guy, the murderer, is going to find justice. I mean, come to justice. Um, I had one book where I let the murderer skate, and I was fully, and my editor, everybody, I was fully expecting all sorts of blowback, and I didn't get it, which was lovely. But usually, the expectation is that the murderer is held accountable. And in a cozy mystery, we try not to do any open door sex, and then we try and avoid too much swearing.
Yeah.
And the occasional swear word can be really impactful. So there is that. Um, and I don't know. I I kind of don't even have to think about anything else. I mean, it just I've been doing it long enough. The 21st Country Club Murder will come out in September, and I've been writing them long enough that I really just don't even have to think about like the confines of the cozy genre.
So what year did this first one come out here? Let's see.
2015.
Okay. All
So
right.
you got the
That's
second edition, which
okay.
says 2020.
Yeah,
But
and mine is signed. Mine is signed.
ooh,
I love it. So why do you think, it feels like, and maybe, I don't know, it just seems to me like cozy mysteries are really popular right now. Do you think the genre has become more popular, or, what do you think is going on there?
well, I think that when the world goes to hell, um, and life is confusing, it's really nice to be able to read a book where everything gets tied up in a neat little bow.
Yeah.
And the bad guy goes to jail, and there's justice, and you know, people I think enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
agree.
really do.
Hmm. So
And
what are you working on right now?
I right now I'm working on the edits for the second book in my Freddie Archer series, which will be called Crimes of Fashion and will be out in December.
What was book one in that?
Murder in Manhattan.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. So that was set. Is that one set in the 1920s?
1920s.
Yeah.
1920s New York.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tell us more. Tell us more about that series.
So it's so much fun. Freddie Archer, who is the main character, is based on a real life columnist from the New Yorker whose name was Lois Long. And Lois was just wild as a March hare and wrote beautifully. I fell in love with her prose, and I wish that Lois and I could have been friends. I mean, she was amazing. And since we can't be friends because we're separated by 100 years, I recreated her in fiction, so I get to hang out with her. But
Oh,
she was this free spirit, incredibly talented, incredibly wry and witty and observant. And I thought, what a great character for an amateur sleuth. I mean, like, that would be like the perfect amateur sleuth. She goes out to speakeasies and clubs and notices people and notices what's happening. And I loved it. And so there was Freddie.
so you're on book 2 there for that one. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So do you think that one's going to be a long series like your Deep End series?
Well, I sure hope so.
Okay.
I
That's the
mean,
plan. Okay.
yeah, that's the plan.
That's great. Awesome. Okay, well, let's see here. I'm trying to think. What is the best way for readers to be in touch with you besides getting your books? Is there a place you prefer for them to reach out and connect?
I am, back in the day when I got started, everybody was like, pick one. And I picked Facebook. So I am on Facebook
Okay.
at Julie Mulhern, her author. And then there is a readers group called the Country Club. I think the Country Club Murders group. And I can send you the link, Alyssa, if you want to post it later.
Yeah.
But those are the best ways to kind of get in touch with me if you want to kind of keep up on new releases and sales and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's super fun. Do you have a newsletter or anything like that
I
people can be
do.
part
I
of?
do. And I have so many newsletters. So I have 2 newsletters. One is for the Country Club Murders and one is for the 1920 series. You can do one, either or both, but they alternate every Tuesday, whether it focuses on Ellison or Freddie. And then I have a Friday newsletter, which is just free books every Friday that you can ebooks. So I have friends who have free books and they let me know, and I post one every Friday.
Great. Okay. That's awesome. And we can find out about all of that in the Facebook group or
I think if you sign up for my newsletter, you're automatically kind of signed up for everything. And it turns
okay.
the light on. No, I'm not going to turn the light on. That made it worse.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's see here. I think that was all the questions that I had. I just sort of wanted people to get a chance to meet you, and just because I was so excited to feature you in ReaderCrate in March. I mean, it was just so much fun, especially just because you are so accomplished and you've written so many books, and I was just so grateful for you to be a part of it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for being here.
Oh, it was delightful. So
Yeah.
fun talking to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks. All right. So everybody, our next crate, I'm going to be actually packing them up this weekend. And the theme is petals and peril, basically where everything is blooming, including the body count. That's the theme. And so if you're interested in that, if you like to read, obviously, and you like being introduced to new authors and you'd like to maybe get a surprise in the mail every month, check us out at readercrate.com. And again, Julie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And that's it. So really appreciate everybody joining us, and stay tuned. And I will put, like Julie said, I'll get the link for her Facebook page and I will add it to the comments in our live stream here. So, all right.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Bye-bye.